All right, let's see what we got. An old radio, according to Bob Tom. So we got to open the result. We got to do fucking cut page. What is this, Bob Tom? Oh, that's nice. I like old stuff like that. Wait a minute. This looks modified. This doesn't look original. All right. I actually have I shouldn't even say that. Original Vitrola, not with the one with the horn hanging out. Anyway, never mind. Old radio picks up old stations. I'm glad, even though this is modified, okay? The reason that old radios pick up old stations, I've said this many times, FM and AM are, they're a line of sight based radio frequencies. So, if you're around the tower that is generating the power frequency for you to receive it, you'll be able to receive it. But before line of sight radio frequencies were around, like, radios, line of sight radio, radio in your car, there was something called wideband technology, or wideband frequency, I should say, wideband frequency. The reason, believe it or not, back in like the early I think the late teens, 20s, and 30s, the reason that people were able to, they had no TV. Everything was dependent on radio. The reason that you could hear a broadcast from the United States, from London or elsewhere, is because they would use this wideband frequency modulation. And wideband, what it is that you fucking take the fucking radio frequency, you force it into the ionosphere, and then the ionosphere acts like a trampoline and brings it back down to the Earth's surface. And then once the frequency hits the Earth's surface, it goes back up, goes back down. And that frequency continues to do so until it like fades out, like a fucking, like a basketball. If a basketball, if you bounce it really hard, it'll bounce and bounce and bounce until it's no longer around. This is why, even to this day, if you have a wideband frequency, old school radio, you can fucking hear shit from the 30s and 40s. That's why all these gamers are like, hey, it's Fallout radio. And the only reason in the game and Fallout all you can hear is old shit is because it's wideband frequencies that we're using that modulation radio wave in order to broadcast shit, and that shit is bouncing around. I'm not fucking joking. Anyway, play this shit. I just want to give a preamble. I know about radio, all right? Just saying.
On 208 meters, this is your station of the stars, Radio Luxembourg.
Radio Luxembourg?
This is your station of the stars, Radio Luxembourg.
I'm a geek. Radio Luxembourg.
Broadcasting is a
1922.
which the future must reckon seriously.
I am not joking. You can hear shit, and you could probably hear shit for the next couple of 100 years from shit that was broadcasted in wideband radio frequency, from the 20s. This is not a joke. I mean, that's why it's creepy, right? Look, that's Morse code. Morse code used to also use that. You know that Morse code, before you could actually communicate, people were using Morse code since fucking mid, like 1860s, 1870s. And Morse code was transmitted via wideband modulation. This is not made up, dude. Buy an old fucking radio and you can pick up wideband.
instrument of almost incalculable.
Was I in AV class? I just love radio. I'm sorry. I'm a radio person, dude. I love radio.
For a midnight split. This is not. You will now hear a statement by the Prime Minister.
Boris.
I am speaking to you from the cabinet room at 10 Downing Street.
No, that's Neville Chamberlain.
This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared...
I have a face for radio. That's great. Thanks a lot, dude.
A state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now.
The easiest way to prove flat Earth is give someone a ham radio. Couldn't travel that way. It could on a flat Earth. I don't want. Nobody's talking about a flat Earth, Devious Dave. Excuse me.
Germany calling, Germany calling, Germany calling. One would describe as the height of cynicism. A message sent by the First Lord of the Admiralty to the captain of the British destroyer.
By the way, I think everybody out there knows what time it is. More beer! Buy an old radio. You'll be able to find shit like this.
Yesterday morning at 2:41 a.m. at General Eisenhower's headquarters,
Winston Churchill.
the representative of the German High Command, and of Grand Admiral Dönitz, the designated head of the German state, signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German...
You thought that was
land,
Metallica?
sea,
Get the fuck
and
out of
air
here.
forces in Europe to the Allied expeditionary forces and simultaneously to the Soviet High Command. Hostilities will end.
I challenge you, try to look for an old radio. They're tube radios. That's what they call them, tube radios. So you got to have one that's already ready to go. And if you plug it in, I mean, you'll be surprised what you'll find. That's where I think there was a movie called White Noise where they take old radios and they go in these frequencies that weren't necessarily used at the time of wideband modulation, and they hear voices like, that are outside, which, are probably done by walkie-talkie, radio, or whatever. I mean, it's a really... Anyway, I don't want to have this discussion about radio waves because we really don't know why they're there. We know they're there. We know we can transmit. We don't know why they're there. I think I've said this 1,000 times. Before we went to digital television, you could be able to throw some antenna on your old TV and be able to receive things on the bands called UHF, VHF. Y'all remember these band frequencies for television? Well, when you were trying to search for your UHF or VHF television station, when you couldn't find it, you would just have this and all this weird static showing up on the screen. And that's what's coming up. That's the radio frequency. We don't know what that is. We don't know what that static is. We don't know what that we don't know what it is. It's there. I'm just saying.